The universe's timeline is incomprehensibly vast. What if I told you that the universe spent 13.8 billion years just setting the stage before humans ever took a breath? Think about that number, 13.8 billion years. To put it in perspective, if you compressed the entire history of the universe into a single calendar year, humans wouldn't appear until the last 10 seconds of December 31st, just 10 seconds. Everything else, the Big Bang, the formation of galaxies, the birth and death of countless stars, the creation of every element heavier than hydrogen, all of that happened in the first 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 50 seconds. The universe wasn't waiting lazily, it was working. Every supernova that exploded was essentially a factory, manufacturing carbon, iron, oxygen, the very atoms that now make up your body. The universe had to build the ingredients first. You cannot bake a cake without flour. And the universe couldn't build humans without first forging the periodic table inside dying stars across billions of years. That's not delay. That's preparation on a cosmic scale that should make your jaw drop every single morning you wake up. Stars had to die so you could live. What if every scar on your body, every drop of blood running through your veins was born inside a dying star billions of years ago? This is not poetry, this is physics. The atoms in your body were forged in stellar nuclear furnaces. Hydrogen, the simplest element, was created in the Big Bang. But everything else, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, calcium in your bones, iron in your blood, these elements required stars to live and die first. A single star takes millions to billions of years to form, burn its fuel, and explode in a supernova. That explosion scatters atoms across the galaxy like seeds. Those seeds then clump together under gravity, form new solar systems, new planets, and eventually, after billions of years of chemical evolution, those atoms organize themselves into something that can think about where it came from. You are the universe's autobiography written in atomic ink. God, or nature, or whatever force you believe in, didn't waste 13.8 billion years. It spent every single second of those years dying and being reborn just to produce the complexity necessary for a creature capable of asking, "Why am I here?" That's not inefficiency. That's breathtaking dedication. Complexity cannot be rushed. What if the greatest mistake we make is thinking that something worth having should arrive quickly? We live in a world of instant noodles, overnight shipping, and 60-second videos, and somewhere along the way we started applying that same logic to existence itself. But the universe operates on a completely different schedule. Complexity, real complexity, cannot be microwaved. It must be slow-cooked across billions of years. Consider how life evolved on Earth alone. Single-cell bacteria existed for over 3 billion years before multicellular life even appeared. 3 billion years of what looks like nothing happening, but underneath, evolution was quietly solving problems, testing solutions, discarding failures, and building molecular machinery of extraordinary sophistication. The DNA double helix, the ribosome, the mitochondria, these are not simple inventions. They are the result of billions of years of biological trial and error. Nature is the ultimate engineer. And good engineers don't rush. They iterate. They test. They rebuild. The 13.8 billion years wasn't God procrastinating. It was the universe running the most complex engineering project in known existence, building a being capable of consciousness, emotion, mathematics, and music. You cannot rush that kind of masterpiece. The anthropic principle, the universe needed to be this old. What if the universe had to be 13.8 billion years old before humans could exist? Not by coincidence, but by necessity. This is the heart of what scientists call the anthropic principle. The idea that the universe's fundamental constants and timeline must be compatible with the existence of conscious observers within it. In other words, we observe the universe being 13.8 billion years old because that's how old it needs to be to produce us. Think about it. For life to exist, you need carbon. For carbon to exist, you need at least one generation of stars to form, burn, and explode. That alone takes billions of years. For a stable planet with liquid water to exist, you need a second or third generation star like our Sun, which takes more billions of years. For complex life to evolve from simple chemistry, you need another billion years of biological evolution. The math is non-negotiable. The universe isn't old because God was slow. The universe is old because that is the minimum time required to produce a mind capable of looking up at the night sky and wondering about its own origin. We couldn't have arrived a single billion years earlier. We are exactly on time. Consciousness is the universe's most expensive achievement. What if consciousness Your ability to feel, to wonder, to love, to fear, is the single most expensive thing the universe has ever produced. Not expensive in money, but in time, energy, and cosmic resources. Think about what had to happen for you to be conscious right now. The Big Bang had to occur with exact precision. If the expansion rate had been even slightly different, the universe would have either collapsed immediately or expanded too fast for galaxies to form. The laws of physics had to cooperate perfectly. Stars had to form in the right sequence. Our solar system had to develop in the right region of the Milky Way, not too close to the dangerous galactic center, not too far in the empty outskirts. Earth had to settle at the exact distance from the sun for liquid water. A moon had to form to stabilize Earth's tilt. An asteroid had to wipe out the dinosaurs to give mammals their chance. And then, after all of that, millions of generations of your ancestors had to survive, reproduce, and pass their genes forward through ice ages, pandemics, famines, and predators. Every single link in that chain had to hold, and it did. Consciousness cost the universe 13.8 billion years. Treat it accordingly. Our cosmic insignificance is actually our greatest power. What if being small doesn't mean being insignificant? What if it means being miraculous? We often look at the vastness of the universe, 93 billion light years across, containing over 2 trillion galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars, and feel crushed by our own smallness. But here's the thing that should electrify you. In all of that incomprehensible vastness, as far as we currently know, only here did matter organize itself into something that could look back at the cosmos and understand it. Only here did atoms develop the ability to feel love, compose symphonies, prove mathematical theorems, and grieve the loss of other atoms. That is not insignificance. That is the opposite. The universe spent 13.8 billion years across an almost infinite canvas running the experiment of complexity, and you are the result. You are not a speck of dust in an indifferent universe. You are the universe's greatest achievement, its most sophisticated expression, its most daring experiment. And the fact that you exist at all, against odds so astronomical that no number can capture them, means that every single day you are alive is not ordinary. It is a cosmic event. You are the universe finally becoming aware of itself, and that should change everything about how you live. What if, and stay with me here, what if the universe didn't wait 13.8 billion years to create humans because it was slow, but because you are so extraordinarily complicated that nothing less than 13.8 billion years of cosmic preparation could produce something like you? What if every star that ever exploded, and there were billions of them, exploded specifically to manufacture the atoms now sitting inside your body? What if you are not late to the universe's party, but you are the reason the party exists at all? See, we look up at the night sky and feel small, we feel accidental, we feel insignificant. But what if that feeling is the biggest scientific mistake a human being can make? Because here's what the actual physics says, here's what the numbers, the chemistry, the biology, and the cosmology all scream when you put them together. The universe could not have made you any faster. It was running at full speed the entire time. And by the end of what I'm about to tell you, I promise you, you will never look at yourself or at the night sky the same way again. So let's go back, all the way back. 13.8 billion years. What if the universe didn't waste 13.8 billion years before creating humans? What if it needed every single one of those years, every single exploding star, every single collapsing galaxy, every single billion-year experiment in chemistry and biology, just to produce something as extraordinarily improbable as you? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's a nice thing to say, but it sounds like flattery. It's not flattery, it's physics. And physics, when you really sit with it, when you really feel what the equations are telling you, is far more astonishing, far more humbling, and far more electrifying than any flattery could ever be. So let's start at the beginning, the actual beginning. 13.8 billion years ago, everything that exists, every atom, every force, every dimension of space and time was compressed into a volume smaller than a single atom. And then, for reasons we still do not fully understand, it exploded. Not exploded into space, exploded as space. Space itself was created in that moment. Time itself began. And in those first 3 minutes after the Big Bang, only 3 elements existed: hydrogen, helium, and a tiny trace of lithium. 3 elements. That's it. Now here is the question that should stop you cold. You are made of 92 naturally occurring elements: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, iron, phosphorus, the stuff of your muscles, your neurons, your DNA, your blood. Where did all of those elements come from? They came from death, stellar death, specifically. See, a star is essentially a nuclear furnace. For millions, sometimes billions of years, a star takes hydrogen and fuses it into heavier elements. Helium first, then carbon, then oxygen, then neon, silicon, sulfur, all the way up to iron. The star is manufacturing the periodic table inside its own belly. And when that star has nothing left to fuse, when it runs out of fuel, it collapses. And then it explodes in a supernova, one of the most violent events in the known universe, and it scatters all of those freshly forged atoms across the galaxy like seeds thrown into the wind. Those atoms drift, for millions of years they drift, and then gravity, patient, relentless gravity, pulls them together again. They form clouds, the clouds collapse, new stars ignite, new planets coalesce around them. And on some of those planets, under the right conditions, those atoms begin to do something extraordinary. They begin to organize, they form molecules, the molecules form amino acids. The amino acids fold into proteins, the proteins build cells and evolve across hundreds of millions of years of biological trial and error, until eventually, after 3.5 billion years of life on Earth alone, those atoms organize themselves into a structure so complex, so sophisticated, so breathtakingly improbable, that it becomes capable of asking where it came from. That structure is you. You are, in the most literal scientific sense possible, made of stardust. The iron in your blood was forged in a dying star. The calcium in your bones was manufactured in a stellar furnace. The oxygen you're breathing right now, this very second, was scattered across space by a supernova explosion billions of years before our solar system even existed. You are not living in the universe. You are the universe, reorganized, made conscious, given the gift of self-awareness and curiosity. Now, why did it take so long? Because complexity cannot be rushed. This is a lesson the universe teaches with absolute consistency, and it's a lesson we humans are spectacularly bad at learning. We want everything instantly. We want understanding instantly, success instantly, meaning instantly. But nature doesn't work that way. Nature iterates. Nature experiments. Nature builds, tests, discards, rebuilds across timescales that make human impatience look almost comic. Consider, for the first 3 billion years of life on Earth, all of life was single-celled, just bacteria. For 3 billion years, you would have looked at this planet and seen nothing but microscopic blobs of chemistry. And you might have thought, nothing is happening here. What a waste. But underneath, invisible to any observer, evolution was quietly solving the hardest engineering problems in the history of the cosmos. How do you replicate DNA with high fidelity? How do you convert sunlight into chemical energy? How do you build a cell membrane that's selectively permeable? How do you power a cell efficiently enough for it to grow more complex? These are not simple problems. These are problems that took billions of years to solve. And without those solutions, without that unimaginably long period of what looks like nothing happening, you don't get fish, you don't get reptiles, you don't get mammals, you don't get primates, and you certainly don't get a creature capable of standing here and discussing it. The 13.8 billion years wasn't God being inefficient. It was God or nature or the universe or whatever name you give to the force behind existence, running the most complex research and development project in the history of anything. And here's the part that should make you dizzy. The universe had to be this old. This isn't a metaphysical claim, this is mathematics. Scientists call it the anthropic principle. And what it essentially says is this: we observe the universe being 13.8 billion years old, because that is the minimum age required to produce observers like us. Think about what had to happen before you could exist. You need carbon. That requires at least one stellar life cycle. Billions of years. You need a stable, second-generation star like our sun. More billions of years. You need a planet to cool, oceans to form, chemistry to self-organize, single-celled life to evolve into multicellular life to develop complex organs, those organisms to evolve intelligence. Each of these steps takes hundreds of millions to billions of years. The math is not negotiable. You cannot rush fusion. You cannot rush gravity. You cannot rush evolution. The universe arrived at humans as fast as the laws of physics would allow. We didn't arrive late. We arrived exactly on time. In fact, we arrived at the earliest possible moment in cosmic history that our level of complexity could emerge. Now I want to talk about something that I find genuinely the most astonishing fact I've ever encountered in all of science, and that is the sheer cost of consciousness. Your consciousness, your ability to sit there right now and feel curious, to experience wonder, to love someone, to fear death, to appreciate beauty, to understand mathematics. That ability did not come cheap. The universe paid for it with 13.8 billion years of time, the deaths of countless billions of stars, the extinction of entire species, the suffering and survival of millions of generations of your ancestors across ice ages and famines and predations. Every single one of your ancestors, going back to the first self-replicating molecule in the primordial ocean, survived. Not one of them, not a single link in that chain stretching back 3.5 billion years, died before reproducing. Every one of them found food, avoided predators, withstood disease, found a mate, and passed their genetic information forward. One broken link anywhere in that chain, and you don't exist. The chain held. For 3.5 billion years, across millions of species and billions of generations, the chain held. What does that tell you? It tells you that you are not an accident. You are the product of an almost incomprehensibly long sequence of survival, adaptation, and unlikely success. The odds against your specific existence are so astronomically large that no human number system has the vocabulary to express them properly. And yet, here you are, thinking, feeling, wondering, asking questions about a universe vast enough to contain 2 trillion galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars, and in all of that immensity, as far as we can currently determine, only here did matter develop the ability to look back at the cosmos and understand it. Only on this small, pale blue dot orbiting an ordinary star in the outer spiral arm of an average galaxy did the universe produce something capable of discovering its own laws, of writing them down in the language of mathematics, of building instruments to see back to the first moments after the Big Bang, of wondering, genuinely wondering, about its own origin. You are the universe's most expensive achievement. You are the result of 13.8 billion years of preparation, investment, and refinement. You are what the cosmos looks like when it becomes curious about itself. And now I want to ask you something. I want to ask you directly. Knowing all of this, knowing that you are made of the ashes of dead stars, that the universe spent almost 14 billion years preparing the conditions for your existence, that the laws of physics conspired across cosmic timescales to produce something as extraordinary as a conscious mind. How do you want to spend the absolutely microscopic sliver of time you have here? Because here's the uncomfortable truth that follows from everything I've just told you. If the universe invested 13.8 billion years in producing you, if stars had to die, and galaxies had to form, and species had to evolve, and your ancestors had to survive unimaginable hardship just so that you could exist, then a life lived in smallness, in fear, in mediocrity, in the quiet suppression of curiosity and wonder and ambition, that is genuinely the greatest waste in the known universe. Not because someone is judging you, but because you are capable of so much more than you're allowing yourself to be. The same atoms that make up the stars make up your brain. The same physical laws that govern galaxy formation govern the electrochemical signals firing in your neurons right now as you process these words. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself, questioning itself, improving itself. The 13.8 billion years was not a delay. It was not God procrastinating, not nature being lazy, not time being wasted. It was the most extraordinary act of patient, purposeful construction ever undertaken. And the thing it was building, after all that time, all that death, all that transformation, was a mind like yours. The universe spent 13.8 billion years building you. The least you can do is spend your few decades being worth it. And so, if I had to compress everything, every billion years of cosmic history, every dying star, every evolving species, every improbable survival, every physical law and chemical reaction that had to work perfectly, if I had to compress all of that into a single sentence, it would be this. The universe is not 13.8 billion years old despite humans existing. The universe is 13.8 billion years old because humans exist. The wait wasn't a mistake. The wait was the point. Every supernova was a sentence in your origin story. Every ice age was a chapter. Every ancestor who survived against impossible odds was a paragraph. And you, right now, alive, conscious, curious, capable of wonder, you are the conclusion that the universe has been writing toward for nearly 14 billion years. So the next time you feel small, the next time you look up at the night sky and feel like a meaningless speck in an indifferent universe, remember this: the universe is not indifferent to you. It built you. slowly, painstakingly, across a timescale that dwarfs every human concept of patience. It built you. And you are, in every measurable and meaningful sense of the word, exactly what the cosmos was working toward. Don't waste it.